Dear students, today we will continue with another switching technique, that is packet switching. In the last class, we have seen about the circuit switching. Today we will see packet switching network. Packet switched networks are connectionless network. As you know, circuit switching is connection oriented network, but the packet switching is connectionless network. Here the message is divided and grouped into number of units called packets that are individually routed from the source to the destination. That means the whole message is divided into packets and each packets are sent from one side to another side. A packet is handed over from node to node across the network. Maybe we can say station to station or workstation to another workstation. Each receiving node temporarily stores the packet until the next node is ready to receive it. That means the advantage of this concept is there will be a like store and forward concept. Generally, we will call it as a store and forward concept here. And another workstation will store that packet till the next receiving end is not ready to collect it. In the connection oriented, what happens? If the connection is fully available from source to destination, then only we can send the message. That means there may be delay in sending the message. But in the packet switching, there will not be delay since we can send the packets wherever the space is or whichever the station is available, that will hold the packets, and whenever it will get the line, it will send it to the forward direction. A packet switched network has a much higher capacity for accepting further connections. Additional connections are usually not blocked but simply slow down existing connections because they increase the overall number of packets in the network and hence increases the delivery time of each packet. Packet switching is to combine datagram networks and virtual circuit networks. Networks route the first packet based on the datagram addressing idea, but then create a virtual circuit network for the rest of the packets coming from the same. You can see the figure. If this may be a source and this may be a destination, then the source computer sends the message in the form of packets one by one, and first workstation stores that one. Whenever the line is available, again it sends it in the forward direction. Again, if the line is available, it sends it to the forward direction. That means there must be one storage area in the workstations. That means we need more space here, but the advantage is there will loss of packets or less loss of message will be very less compared to circuit switching. Differences with respect to technology, circuit switching and packet switching. Sometimes there may be questions differentiate between circuit switching and packet switching. The first one, circuit switching, as I said, it is connection oriented network, and packet switching is connectionless network. Second one, a dedicated path has to be established between the source and the destination before the transfer of data. Once the data is transmitted, the path is relinquished. That means path is cancelled or abandoned. In the packet switching, there is no need to establish a dedicated path from the source to the destination since it is sending the data in the form of packets. Third one, it is inflexible in nature since data packets are routed along the same dedicated path. But here in the packet switching, each packet is routed separately. Consequently, it is flexible in nature where the different data packets follow different paths. Fourth one, It was initially designed for voice transfer, but packet switching initially designed for data transfer. Fifth one, the entire message is received in the order sent by the source. That means whole message will be in the same format. Okay, but in the packet switching, the individual packets of the message are received out of order and so need to be reassembled at the destination. The disadvantage packet switching is having. It is implemented at physical layer and it is implemented at network layer. What those layers are, we will see next. It has two approaches: space division switching and time division switching. But packet switching again has two approaches: datagram and virtual circuit. Eighth one, it is not a store and forward transmission method, but data packet switching is store and forward transmission. Ninth one, data is processed and transmitted at the source only, but the data is processed and transmitted not only at the source but at each switching station, since the message will be sent in the form of packets. Differences with respect to applicability, advantages and disadvantages. Okay, on the basis of advantages and how it is useful, and on the basis of disadvantage, there are differences. First one, circuit switching. They are suitable for long continuous transmission like voice calls. So in telephone network, these are useful. Packet switching. They are unsuitable for applications that cannot afford delays in communication like high quality voice calls. Second one, once a route is established between the source and the destination, the route cannot be used by any other user. This leads to poor utilization of resources. As I said earlier, in the telephone network, if one line is for one user, which he communicates from source to destination, then the whole line will be available only for that user. Using it for another user is not possible. But packet switching, it allows simultaneous usage of the same channel by multiple users. This guarantees better resource utilization. Even though it has to reassemble the packets, but there will be utilization of resources. That means on that basis it may be cheaper. Bandwidth requirement is high even in cases of low data volume. But here in the packet switching, it ensures better bandwidth usage as a number of packets from multiple sources can be transferred via the same link. Fourth one, time required to establish connection may be high. But here in the packet switching, delay in delivery of packet is less, since packets are sent as soon as they are available. Initial cost is low. In packet switching, high installation costs. That means initial cost is more. Sixth one, the protocols for delivery are relatively simpler, but in the packet switching, complex protocols are there for the delivery. That means you can expect more security in the packet switching. It is more reliable, circuit switching, but packet switching is less reliable since there is a concept of store and forward. Approaches to network design. There are three approaches nowadays which are famous. Telegraph, which is not there nowadays, but it started with telegraph network, then telephone, and then went on with internet. First we will see telegraph network. A telegraph is a communication system in which information is transmitted over a wire through a series of electrical current pulses. Okay, usually in the form of Morse code. Morse is a scientist, he developed code of telegraph. Maybe your parents know about that one. Earlier, like the telephone operator used to send the telegraphs maybe by typing some information or signal. Those are called as Morse codes, and commonly it was pronounced as kada kada katta kada. Okay, that type of coding method. The basic component includes a source of direct current, a length of wire or cable, and a current indicating device such as relay, buzzer, or light bulb. The term comes from the Greek word tele. Tele means a distance and a graphin means to write. Okay, that's why they use teletypewriter. One person used to type from one side, another side it used to print on the paper. The different functions of this network were as follows. The basic user service is transmission of telegrams. The basic user service is transmission of telegram. To send the telegram, the telegraph was used. The switching approach was message switching. Terminal used is telegraph and teletype. The information represented is Morse, baud, and ASCII. Okay. Routing is done manually. The mode of addressing was circuit switching. Multiplying is of character and message multiplexing. Okay, there was a concept of multiplexing. Multiplexing means we can send the same information in several ways. There are two types of telegraph network. Morse telegraph, the man most commonly associated with the telegraph, Samuel Morse, did not invent the communication tool, but he developed it, commercialized it, and invented the famous code for it that bears his name. Communication range was 32 km over copper wires. Then second one was Marconi radio telegraph. Marconi developed a means of transmitting a signal for the great distance and eventually commercialized a practical system. The signal was transmitted with the frequency of roughly 500 kilohertz, and power booster concept was given to boost the signals. Nowadays we are using the frequency band, that means AM, FM radios, and that is nothing but Marconi radio telegraph system. Telephone network. The earliest electronic network is the telephone system. This telephone network commonly uses analog technology. As you know, there will be digital and analog. Analog means continuous signal, maybe sinusoidal signals, continuous signals, which we are sending one by one. Digital means the discrete signals. That was quite different from digital technology used in the computer-based networks. The advantage of digital technology over the analog technology in terms of economics and services forced the telephone industry to move rapidly to install fiber and digital networks. Okay, nowadays the telephone system or the telephone network uses fiber optics technology. That is, the signal is transmitted in the form of a light. Okay, to send it fast. Modem. There is a short form of modulator, demodulator. That means when we are sending the data on a cable, the data must be in the analog format. Even though you are using digital data, that must be transferred in the form of analog. Again, to read it out in the destination, it must be in the form of digital. That means again we have to convert it from the analog to digital. So, in the telephone network, there is one device called modem, that is modulator, demodulator. Converting digital to analog is called modulator. Again, reconverting it to Analog to digital is called demodulator. So shortly there was one device on both the sides with the name modem. The telephone network transmits analog signals and hence a modem is required. Whenever a computer or terminal is connected to the telephone line, the modem converts digital data from a computer to an analog signal that can be transmitted via telecommunication line and converts the analog signal received to computer data. Okay. Then the dial-up telephone networks. The telephone network consists of the subscriber's line, switchboards and trunk lines. Each subscriber line has an address, that is telephone number. Okay. When a caller transmits a dial signal to the switchboard connects the caller's subscriber line to that of the receiver, enabling communication. Okay. That means here dials a number, then it will be dialed in the subscriber's number or maybe in the receiver side. Okay, here you can see what type of network it is in the telephone network. Maybe if you are using it for computer data is taken by the modem converts this digital data to analog and transmits on the telephone line, and again on another side there will be again modem which converts analog signal to digital, and in the telephone the same type of concept, but there is no modem. Directly we will dial the number, and by that number only the receiver will be identified. When the telephone system is to connect with a network, it becomes necessary to dial the telephone number to select the target device on the network. A device called Network Control Unit (NCU) perform this, and most of the available modems include NCU, Network Control Unit. Okay, configuration of telephone network. When you are dialing number, it will be dialed on a switchboard, and then on the basis of dialed number, it will identify the receiver and connects the data to, or connects the line to receiver. That is in the telephone system. Okay, there may be set of users, receivers, and maybe you will send the data on the switchboard, and the switchboard will try to identify the receiver. Okay, that is in the leased line system. A computer can be connected permanently to the internet using leased lines in addition to a modem and router. These lines are based on speed of the connection, installation cost, and recurring monthly charges. A computer can be permanently connected to the internet using leased lines. Maybe you have seen sometime we want like continuous connections without any disturbance. For example, banks or maybe share system, maybe the share index or maybe the BSE trading they are making. Maybe from CIRSI somebody want to make the trading in the Bombay trading market. Then they need fast service or the fast internet connection. For that purpose, they can go for leased line. An example of usage of leased line is system in which only one terminal is connected to the host computer. Host means server. Though multiple computers or terminals using multiplexing can be connected to one system via a single leased line. It uses FDM, okay, frequency division multiplexing, for an analog leased line for TDM, time division multiplexing. We will see those concepts in later stage. For digital leased line, DSU, Digital Service Unit, is used instead of modem for digital line. Remember, DSU, there will be a PSU. And here DSU, Digital Service Unit, is used for the digital network. These lines may also be used to connect LAN, local area networks. Here you can see there will be ISP router, other users, internet will be there. Then there will be DSC or DSU, that is Digital Service Unit. Then lease line, again there will be on DSU on another side, and there will be users LAN, okay, the computers. There may be a host computer, it may be a server, again there may be a workstation. Thank you, students. In the next class, we will continue with other concepts. Thank you. God bless you.